Right. Good afternoon or good evening, actually. I'm on Eastern Standard Time, reporting from Charlotte, North Carolina. Happy Friday, everybody. In the midst of all of what's going on, I'm still saying happy Friday. And I want to greet all of you and say blessings. Um, I want to first start off by saying blessings and that God's biology has untapped immune power, meaning all of us have an immune system. And the title of my discussion this evening is about the fact that this phenomenon, this viral phenomenon called the coronavirus, is an attack on our biological defense system, otherwise known as our immune system. Again, the coronavirus is the hottest thing, the hottest topic, the thing that has the world in a place of fear or panic. Um, some may even be in disbelief. Some may even be in a state of peace around it, meaning it is what it is. It's a viral um, agent that is definitely having a detrimental impact on people. Is having a detrimental impact on life as we know it, our normal lives. Industry is being impacted. People's bodies are being impacted according to the Centers for Disease Control, the CDC. Um, the latest, situation in the U.S. The latest reports indicate that um, a certain number of people, I just had it up, let me bear with me, I'll find it. A certain number of people have been um, impacted by the coronavirus in the US, and it appears that when I find it, I'll mention the number. It appears that it's just the beginning. So I wanted to go live because I think during this time it's important to have perspective. It's important to have perspective because the coronavirus is on the move, so to speak. It's a contagion. It's an infectious. According to the CDC, they're referring to it as the coronavirus disease, which is interesting. I hadn't heard it being referred to as a disease until more recently, and it's an interesting time. I think a lot of people are in fear. How many of you are in fear? Don't be ashamed. You can admit it. How many of you have a sense of uncertainty? How many of you are in fear? If you're watching live, let's make it interactive. Um, I made a post the other day um, asking everyone, would you like me to do a free webinar discussing some foods proven to have an antiviral impact or influence on our biology? Because as you can see, the question right now for all of us is, are we going to fear the coronavirus or fortify our biological defense system, which is our immune system? It's a God-given um, natural defense system. Now, we live in America where most Americans derive over 50% of the calories in the average American's diet are derived from CRAP. CRAP is an acronym for calorie rich and processed foods. CRAP, calorie rich and processed foods. So most Americans, the average American, derives over 50% of their calories from calorie rich and processed foods. And over 30% of calories in the average American's diet consists or comes from animal products, which many people refer to as meat. And I'm including fish as, of course, an animal product or meat because it's animals that swim in the water. And then, there's a category in which Americans, according to the USDA, are deriving their calories from, referred to as the plant-based category. But within that category, there's potatoes, and majority of the potatoes consumed in America are actually in the form of French fries. So most Americans are really only getting maybe 5% of their calories are derived from unprocessed, natural, whole plant-based foods that are micronutrient and fiber dense. So we're in an era right now of the coronavirus, and it's spreading. But one of the messages that we're not hearing is what we need to do as citizens, as humans, to fortify our God-given natural defense system, more popularly known as our immune system. Because any virus, any antigen, any pathogen, any foreign matter that enters or makes contact with our biology, of course, it's our God-given natural defense system, our immune system, that does kick in and respond. So the question is, are we going to fear the coronavirus? Are we going to focus on fearing the coronavirus? Or at this moment, are we going to focus on fortifying our immune system? And honestly, that's one of the precautions that's not being taken. I mean, we can wash our hands, which we should more than ever. We can wear gloves. I'm in Whole Foods right now, and I worked out this morning before I got here, and I wore gloves, not workout gloves. I wore I don't know if they were latex or non-latex. My mom gave them to me. They were rubber disposable gloves, and I worked out at the gym with them because I wasn't going to stop. I'm not a person that lives by fear and lives in limitation. I believe in making adjustments and adapting. I'm a resourceful person. I believe in adapting to situations, crisis situations, adversity. And the way I see this is it's a challenge. It's a moment of adversity throughout the world. The coronavirus is a viral attack on our God-given defense system, our immune system. So what are we going to do? What can you do to protect yourself as much as possible? Well, since it's a virus, smartest thing you can do, in addition to washing your hands and not touching your face and not being in a closed space where there's lots of people that can breathe and sneeze on one another, is focus on eating foods that have proven antiviral abilities, proven antiviral ability to activate your immune system, your defense system, to a high level of activity. Because for those of you who are on a standard American diet, your immune system's already suppressed. Your immune system's already weak. So how about we shift the focus from fear to fortification? Let's shift the focus from fearing the coronavirus to fortifying our defense system. What do you think about that? I want to read some comments. I'm gonna go into comments. Okay, I like this. Crystal Pierre says, I'm not living in fear. Good. That's a great thing, because I think many decades ago, some of the evidence indicates that the emotion of fear actually suppresses the immune system itself. So we don't want to be in fear, because fear suppresses the immune system, according to the evidence. Let's see what some other folks have to say. Sonia Rosales, we have to be careful, but no panic. I agree with that as well. We definitely need to take precautions. Some of the recommended precautions from the CDC, Centers for Disease Control, are smart. They're wise. I think that's an important thing. But what else can you do? Have you ever considered that there's things you can do throughout the day to strengthen your immune system, such as what you choose to eat and not eat? All right? So that's something that's not being discussed, because as of right now, there is no vaccine protocol. Not that I'm for taking vaccines, because I'm just not, me personally. I definitely believe in God-given immunity. And of course, there's a lot in nature, whether it's herbs as well as cruciferous vegetables. There's a whole list of cruciferous vegetables with proven antiviral ability. I'm talking about cruciferous vegetables that they see, have noticed, the evidence is clear, even activate and stimulate interferon, so that our immune system can function and perform at a higher level to get rid of specific viruses. So there's a lot of evidence. I'm not going to get too technical, because I would much rather do a webinar for that. But I just wanted to do something where I'm part of the dialogue, and to stimulate the conversation and shift it to include how you go about eating to fortify your defense system, your biological defense system, otherwise known as your immune system. How many of you have thought about that? I want to hear some comments. How many of you even considered that? Is that part of your protocol for preventing yourself from being exposed to this virus? Because more people, according to what they're saying, are going to be exposed. But the question is your immune system strong right now? In fact, what have you eaten today that has antiviral ability in terms of how it can upregulate and strengthen your immune system? Have you eaten your salads today? Have you eaten green leafy vegetables today? Have you eaten broccoli today? Have you had red onions today? Have you had ginger root today? Have you had mustard greens today? Have you had berries? Have you had raw nuts and seeds? So look, plant-based foods are micronutrient dense. I mean, let's get real. If why fear something when you can better protect yourself, not just by wearing gloves, not just by washing your hands more, not just by avoiding people, but strengthening your immune system. I'm not getting any comments. Where are the comments? Come on now. This is common sense as well. And actually, the CDC, Centers for Disease Control, talks about in America, there are populations that are more susceptible or more at risk. For instance, people with diabetes are more at risk for being impacted by the coronavirus. Folks with heart disease, or folks who are at risk for heart disease, folks who are at risk for diabetes or have diabetes, and even one of the, there was, let's see if I can find it. There was a podcast, on the Joe Rogan podcast, maybe about 3 3 days ago, there was a guy. Let me see if I can find it. Bear with me for a few seconds, because I would like to play something just so that you can hear something that you never even heard. Hold up for a second. I'm about to bring it up on screen. Give me a second. I'm going to bring it up on screen.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Give me a second. Okay. Give me a second.
In that case.
So I'm going to play something for you, and I think it's going to shock many of you, because I guarantee you what I'm about to play, you have not even heard about. But this guy I think he's employed by the CDC. So hold up for a second. Let me see if I can bring it up. I think I can. Give me a second. And I'm going to play something that's going to shock you. All right. I hope you can hear it.
Very few women smoke. Now, the challenge we have is that that's the Chinese data. But there are a series of risk factors that we worry about that, if they overlay on this disease, are going to cause bad outcomes. And we happen to be right at ground zero for one of the major ones here in this country, and that's obesity. We know that obesity is just like smoking in terms of its ability to really cause severe life-threatening disease. And 45% of our population today over the age of 45 in this country are obese or severely obese, and there's men and women. So one of the concerns we have is we're going to see more of these, what I guess I would call very serious and life-threatening cases occur in our country because of a different set of risk factors than we saw in China.
Now, you mentioned that there's some sort of incubation period before people become sick. They're still contagious. What is this incubation period? And how?
Did you all catch that? He basically stated in so many words that here in America, where there's a significant population of obese and overweight people, because I wouldn't just say obese, but those who are classified as overweight and also obese would be populations in America that would be more vulnerable, more at risk for being impacted by the coronavirus. Now, this guy, let me find it, because if I'm not mistaken, let me give you his credentials. He was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he's an infectious disease expert. Michael Osterholm explains, and he talks about, and I may play it one more time. There's a significant population of obese people in America, and that this population of obese people would actually be more susceptible or more impacted by the coronavirus. I'm going to play it one more time because, you know, I have the Plant-Based Loser Challenge, and I've been talking about for well over a year when I do Facebook Lives how important it is to get rid of fat before fat gets rid of you. And here, this infectious disease expert talks about that having excess fat on your body puts you more at risk as it relates to the coronavirus. So I'm going to play it one more time because he's an infectious disease expert and it's coming right out of his mouth. I'm going to play it one more time because I want everybody to hear it one more time. And I'll play some stuff right before that so that you can catch the context.
The case fatality rate, or the percentage of people who die in women in that same age group, is only about 2%. In that case, very few women smoke. Now, the challenge we have is that that's the Chinese data. But there are a series of risk factors that we worry about that, if they overlay on this disease, are going to cause bad outcomes. And we happen to be right at ground zero for one of the major ones here in this country, and that's obesity. We know that obesity is just like smoking in terms of its ability to really cause severe life-threatening disease, and 45% of our population today over the age of 45 in this country are obese or severely obese, and it's men and women. So one of the concerns we have is we're going to see more of these, what I guess I would call very serious and life-threatening cases occur in our country because of a different set of risk factors than we saw in China.
Now, you mentioned that there's some sort of incubation period before people.
So you just heard an infectious disease specialist mention the fact that obesity is a risk factor, a high risk factor for those in an era of the spread of the coronavirus. Being obese, being overweight, having excess body fat, and some of the complications that come from that, because a lot of people don't understand that if you're overweight or obese, your immune system is more vulnerable. Your immune system is not operating at a high level. You're going to be more susceptible and vulnerable to a variety of viruses just by virtue of being obese or overweight. And there are a lot of overweight people that don't even consider themselves obese because within their mind it's more subjective versus objective measures such as BMI and just being outright honest. So, there is a way to eat that brings about easy weight loss. There is a way to eat that also provides your body with antiviral compounds, which are found in a variety of foods, like mushrooms and a whole list of cruciferous vegetables. And here again, I would much rather do a webinar where I can deep dive, free webinar, and deep dive into some specifics, but also offer what I call an antiviral solution so that we go from information to immersion and protection. I think one of the greatest defenses that we have to arm ourselves is to fortify our immune system by making sure that we significantly increase our plant-based food consumption. And there's a whole host of compounds, ITCs, a whole host of compounds found and present in cruciferous vegetables that provide immune or defense system increase, boosts, supercharging the immune system. And I think that's an overlooked area, but we really need to focus. We need to take responsibility for our own biology. And we need to also embrace the fact that our God-given biology has a defense system, has an immune system that's capable of doing a good to great job as relates to fighting off a variety of viruses. And I'm not suggesting that we can defeat the coronavirus with a powerful immune system that's armed with plant-based compounds. I don't know. This is all new. But I do know that the evidence is clear as it relates to viruses responsible for the cold and flu, that you can definitely strengthen your immune system and get over many viruses. So I am not going to go so technical. I would much rather use a webinar and use keynote slides to show you some evidence and show you some specific foods and even provide an opportunity for people who want a guideline to follow, like a meal plan to follow that will not only help them lose weight, but provide their bodies with antiviral compounds. Because for me, it's not about fearing the coronavirus. It's about fortifying my immune system. That's something I can control. So if you believe in that, let me get your let me hear your comments. Let me get some comments on that. Should we be fearing the coronavirus or fortifying our immune system? What do you think? I want to hear from you. Crystal Pierre, I already eat the healthy foods. The one thing that has really improved my immune system is by letting go of toxic thoughts. Yes. Oh, yeah. Because thoughts, with every thought, there is emotion. So, yeah, toxic thoughts, our thoughts and our emotions do impact the immune system. Absolutely. You know, but there's a chemistry found in nature, in plant-based foods, and in herbs, and in mushrooms, and a whole list of cruciferous vegetables with proven antiviral power that strengthen and give our immune system a boost. And we need to be taking advantage of that. So it's important that we go beyond fear, remain in taking precautions, which is wise. But one of the precautions that I recommend is a plant-based protocol so that we can benefit from the proven antiviral compounds in a host of cruciferous vegetables and mushrooms. And I would like to do a webinar that deep dives and gets specific, free webinar, but then even offer for those who really care about getting a grip, taking control over their immune system and their immune response, and better arm their immune system with the compounds that are made available in Mother Nature's bounty, the plant-based food kingdom, who really want to do a great job, because we need to fortify our immune system. We need to go from being obese and overweight to releasing all this excess body fat that plays a major role in metabolic dysfunction and metabolic syndrome conditions. And now the CDC is talking about the fact that populations that are more at risk for the coronavirus would be populations at risk for heart disease, diabetes, and they named another illness as well. So let's get some more comments. You all are kind of quiet, but maybe after I go off live, there will be a lot more comments, a lot more perhaps questions. And I just think we can do a better job. You know, I think we need caution. And part of that caution is to take what we already have, fortify it, referring to our immune system, God's biological defense system that we all have. And we need to up our game. You know, we got to take responsibility for what's going on right here and right now. And we shouldn't fear the coronavirus. I think we should be concerned. And in our healthy concern, one of our responses is a personal protocol that involves increasing our plant-based food consumption. And so those are my thoughts. That's what I'm doing. And that's part of my everyday regimen, but I'm adding in some new things to even fortify my immune system even more. I'm not even in fear. I have 1,000,000,000% faith and certainty in, I call spiritual protection, but also the protection that comes from taking in more of the compounds and the chemistry found in cruciferous vegetables and in mushrooms and in other herbs, so that my immune system can fight off any and every virus. And I am in a spiritual space, a mental space, a consciousness space of repelling all viruses, microbes, pathogens that are in opposition to love, divine favor. I rebuke it. So I psychically, energetically, spiritually rebuke all viruses, because I love myself and I love what God gave me and I love God and God loves me. But we definitely need to take worldly precaution and adhere to some protocols laid out by the CDC. I'm for that. But one of the protocols not mentioned is increasing your plant-based food consumption and avoiding foods that actually suppress and compromise the immune system. So those are my thoughts, those are my opinions, and there's some evidence to support my opinions. But on that note, I'm going to wrap it up. Leave a comment if you found this valuable as a protocol and a message that's not being promoted in the media. Make sure you like it. Make sure you share it with others. And leave a comment. If you want me to do a free webinar, let me know. I've started working on something, but I want to hear it. I want to hear from you, because I'm not just going to create something if there's no demand for it. I know there's a need, but I want to hear from you. If I get 20 yeses as responses and comments to this video, then I'm going to schedule a free webinar so people can find out specifically about what foods they should be eating right now to strengthen and arm their immune system, so that because of taking in more proven antiviral compounds from the plant-based kingdom, specifically cruciferous vegetables and mushrooms, now we can fortify our immune systems and go beyond fear. Have a wonderful evening. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like it and share it if you found this perspective and this message different than what we're hearing. Like it, share it, and leave a comment. And tell me yes if you want me to do a webinar where I deep dive and get specific, and even offer an opportunity for a meal plan, so that you can have a guideline to follow. Take care. Have a wonderful Friday. Focus on joy. Focus on gratitude. Focus on being happy in the midst of the coronavirus era. Focus on peace, and focus on treating your God's biology better. God's biology deserves better. And it's time for us to embrace nutrient and fiber-dense plant-based protocol. Have a wonderful evening. It's Shabaka Amen. And it's time. It's time to pursue biological wealth, because metabolic health is key. Metabolic health is biological wealth. Have a wonderful weekend. Let's go from fear, and let's fortify our God-given defense system, otherwise known as our immune system. Take care. I love you. Love yourself, and love your biology. Peace. I'm out.